Welcome back, everybody. I'm Michael Foley, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do a Kimura from closed guard. The Kimura is a shoulder lock, and the Kimura grip itself is one of the most dominant grips you can possibly use in Jiu-Jitsu. You can get a lot of control over your opponent with it. So if you can establish the Kimura grip position, you're going to hold on to it as tight as you possibly can. You're going to move your body around underneath and around your opponent to get into a position where you can start to apply the proper pressure. It looks like this. We get the closed guard. My opponent has put their hands on the floor right there. Either they did it or I helped them get there in the first place, but this is ultimately where we end up. So what I want to do is I want to get my hand on their wrist. Once I got wrist control here, I'm going to open up my guard. I'm going to bite down with this one right here to keep pressure on his hip. But this foot here, I'm going to put this one on the floor next to his other foot. I'm going to open up my guard. I'm going to come up to my elbow. Now my hand right here, I'm going to come around my partner's elbow. A big mistake I see people make here is it's easy to put the arm in place here, and then they got a bit of a reach right here to get this grip, and then they start pulling back on their partner's shoulder. And if my partner resists at all, it's going to be pretty hard for me to get him to the ground, and his arm is going to be mostly straight. So what I want to do instead is I actually want to go over my partner's elbow and get my grip together. Now when I start to pull back on their arm, I'm going to pull their elbow towards my chest. So this foot, my left foot, is going to push to the floor. This leg right here, my right calf muscle, I'm going to bite that into my partner's hip, and I'm going to drive my head back to the mat. Once I get here, my leg right here, my right leg, I'm going to hook that inside of my partner's guard, and this is going to prevent them from elevating and rolling out of it. And then my other leg, I'm going to switch positions. I'm going to take the same position I just had with my right leg now with my left leg, and then I'm going to bump my hip out to the right side here, and I'm going to keep bumping out until I get right here. That's going to help flatten out my partner. This leg is going to lose the hook, and I'm going to lock that over the top of my left leg, and I'm going to keep my elbows pinned tight to my body, and I'm just going to adjust my hips from here. So right now, my right shoulder is far away from my partner, and my left shoulder is close. So I want to change that up. I want my shoulders to be perpendicular to the floor. So I'm going to start to turn towards my partner here and get the Kimura. Let's change the angle. From here, my opponent's hands are on the floor. I'm going to grab their wrist, open my guard, sit up, and this arm goes over their elbow. I get my grips together, pin their elbow tight to my body, and I'm going to concentrate on putting my left shoulder back on the floor. Here, elbows tight to my body, my right foot hooks their foot, and then my left foot, I'm going to turn it up and I'm going to shrimp away to the right side, getting up on my side as much as I can, cross my feet, and I do the lock with my body. So I'm not pushing with my arms, I'm driving with my hip to perform the Kimura. Now from the other side, their hands on the floor, I grab their wrist with my hand, open up my guard, sit up and go over their elbow. I drive my left shoulder back, I hook their foot with my right foot, and I bump my hip out to the other side. Now basically, my opponent is no longer lying on top of my torso. They're on the inside of my left thigh, and I want to keep them there. This leg bites the hip, my right leg bites back over the top. I pin my elbows tight to my body. Now from here, I'm just going to drive this hip and this shoulder towards their head. So there's no pressing with my arms here at all. So if my opponent is bigger and stronger than me and they just start to straighten up their arms, if I'm trying to do this with my arm, they're going to be able to power their arm straight and escape this move. Whereas if I keep my elbows pinned tight to my body, if they try to power out of this position, their arm is bent, I have all the leverage, and then from there, I can finish the Kimura. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you have any requests on techniques you'd like to see, just leave them in the comments below. I'm Michael Foley. I'll see you on the mats.